What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 18 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. I'm Jared, back again with Ian and Alex. Alex, it's good to have you back after a week absence. We missed you. But yeah, we're back again with episode number 18. The NFL is officially back, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend like we did. I literally did nothing. Like I blogged, I laid on the couch, I ate terrible food and watched football from the time I got up until the time I went to bed at night, turned around, watched football on Monday. It was fantastic. One of the best weekends. NFL opening weekend is fantastic. Did you guys enjoy yourself, Ian, Alex?
Yeah, it wasn't bad outside of my team just completely being what they normally are, and that's just terrible and losing another quarterback. So,
Yeah, it's par for the course in Cleveland. Alex is a Bengals fan. I know he had a good weekend like myself. But yeah, for those of you maybe new to our show, we start each episode off with our best and worst of this past weekend. So, Ian, I'm going to let you pick up right where you left off. Go ahead and give us your best and worst.
my best of the week, I'm going to baseball. Joey Votto's performance on Sunday on his 33rd birthday, 4 for 5 with a bomb. The guy continues to rake. He's hitting 427 in the second half of the season. He's just unreal. My worst of the week.
Hey, baseball's still going on right now? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a few minor league games left.
My worst of the I thought baseball ended September 11th as soon as the NFL started, but I guess I was wrong. So go ahead, though.
Worst of the week, ESPN's fantasy app. They had one job. Kudos to Jared. He runs our fantasy league on Yahoo, but my two other leagues ran by ESPN. Couldn't get an update on my games until the 8 o'clock games, the Cardinals and Patriots game Sunday night. So ESPN dropped the ball. That they had 8 months to plan for it, and they just did a shitty job.
Yeah, and it's kind of a poor person move by me to have our league through Yahoo. But the reason I have it on there is because 6 years ago when we started this league, it was like the creme de la creme of fantasy leagues. And then ESPN comes about and just dominates everything. But if I were to switch our league, we would lose all of our league history and everything like that. Yahoo does a good job of keeping all that together and categorizing it for you and everything, which is pretty cool. You can look back on your league history. And you know me, I got 3 championships. I want to look back on them. So that's why I keep our league in Yahoo. And yeah, it was a good weekend for us. We could see all of our stuff on Yahoo, but ESPN, I had like 4 leagues in ESPN, so it sucked. I was on the other side of the coin as well. But Alex, what was your best and worst of this past weekend, man?
Best for me was big performances from our Cincinnati Bengals. Our young guys, Shaw with interception to seal the win. LaFell picked him up in the offseason. He had a big game. And then, of course, A.J. Green dominating, doing what A.J. does. My worst of the week was my Manchester United Red Devils, losing to some subpar, non-history having teams. That was my best and worst this past week.
Oh, and how sweet that victory was, too. Manchester's blue, my friend. It is blue. But my best of the week, like Alex said, I'm going to piggyback on the A.J. Green thing. A.J. Green is now mayor of Revis Island. Things are going well for him there. He's vacationing there at his summer house. So great performance by A.J. and the Bengals in general. That was my best of. Tough place to go into and win. September 11th, emotional day. In New York City, the Jets got a good team. They're probably a playoff team. That defense is legit. Ugly game by the Bengals, but they were able to get a win, and that's a huge road win. Great way to start the season. So that's my best of. My worst of, Andy Dalton being sacked 7 times. That sucked. To see your franchise quarterback go down that many times, can't risk injuries. He had no time to throw the ball. He threw for over 300 yards and he got sacked 7 times. So could you imagine if the line actually protected for him? But we'll get more into that later. But just seeing Andy Dalton get sacked 7 times, which is a career worst, by the way, just terrible performance by the offensive line, and I hated seeing that. But let's move on. That's our best and worst of this past weekend. Thank you, guys. Let's move on to a segment that we call Top 5. Now, Top 5 typically coincides with something going on in pop culture. Last week we did our top 5 favorite NFL helmets, which was electric. This week, I don't know if you guys are on Twitter. If you are, follow us at Ohio Sports Radio on Twitter. But Twitter did a trending topic, and it was people were giving their unpopular TV opinions. So we figured that we would piggyback on that, and we would give you guys our top 5 unpopular TV opinions. So Alex, I'm going to let you start this one. Let's go ahead and start with number 5 for you.
Number 5 for me, Sesame Street sucks. I hated it as a kid. I don't let my own kids watch it. It's a terrible show.
What was it?
Sesame Street. Big Bird.
Oh, Sesame Street.
Elmo.
It kind of.
Sesame Street. Terrible fucking
It kind
show.
of. Yeah. The audio kind of went out on my end, but Sesame Street. Yeah, it sure does suck. Fuck that show. Ian, number 5 for you on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
Number 5 for me deals with my favorite show of all time, which is Seinfeld. I feel like Seinfeld could have came back a year later after they served the prison term, after the finale. I know a lot of people says, well, don't mess with a good thing. You don't want to do that. But I think it's evident, like with that comedian who came out with that post 9/11 script for the Seinfeld episode.
That was
Seinfeld,
genius. That was genius, by the way. It was genius. That was good.
I could picture the whole show in my head. I think things like that show could have kept going if they really wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people just get tired of each other. I felt The Office could have kept going too if Steve Carell would have stayed on as Michael. But yeah, I agree with that. Number 5 for me. Every talent show, whether it's American Idol, it's So You Think You Can Dance, what are some other ones? The Voice, all those shows fucking suck, and they need to get off television. If you watch those, if you literally carve out time to watch those shows, you are a miserable person. Those shows fucking suck. That's number 5 for me. We're coming in with a bang. Number 4 on number 4, Alex, on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
Before my number 4, I gotta agree with you on your 5. Like, America's Got Talent. Over 3 of the 4 judges aren't even fucking American. So, but anyways,
yeah. No, those shows, by the way, to piggyback on that, they were like, American Idol was cool when it wasn't cool, but you know what I mean? It was like, oh, this is kind of unique, like people singing and they can change their lives and they could be found. It was cool for like 2 seasons. And then when Ruben kicked Clay's ass, I think that was season 2. Yeah. I watched that one, not gonna lie. But when Ruben beat Clay, it was over. Like that was the end of American Idol. It wasn't cool anymore. Like we found, like it ran its course, and it's 20 seasons later or whatever. They're all dumb. They're all stupid shows. But yeah,
it's just like the Now CDs. Like what are they on? Like Now 50 or 52 or 62?
Dude, they could be on like Now 5000 if they wanted to.
Yeah, fucking give it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
number 4.
Number 4 for me. 24. Show fucking sucked. Jack Bauer. I think is that who it was?
Yeah, Jack Bauer.
Yeah, kick that guy in the dick. Fuck that show.
I gotta disagree. I kind of like that one a little bit. Ian, number 4 for you on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
Let me pick my jaw up first. Jack Bauer is a goddamn American hero. So that's all
I gotta agree with Ian on this one, dude. But it's unpopular. It's unpopular, right? I mean, this is our unpopular TV opinions. I gotta disagree with you, Alex. I gotta agree with my boy Ian on this one. I like 24.
You could be deported for that. Anyway, number 4 for me. I despised How I Met Your Mother. I didn't think it was funny. There were so many people that liked that show. I did not think it was funny whatsoever.
Fucking thank you. That show fucking sucked. And people compared that show to The Office. There is zero comparison, people. The Office, it's like Seinfeld and then The Office. There is zero comparison between The Office and How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother sucked. So I'm glad you put that. That was actually on my list. I'm going to actually have to go on the fly here, Ian. But I completely agree with you on that one. Number 4 for me, this is a controversial one. I watch a lot of Netflix. I'm a huge Food Network fan. Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, it's a fucking good show. I don't care what anyone says. You can hate Guy Fieri all you want. That's a fucking great show, okay? If anyone sits here and says they don't like that show, you're an asshole and a liar. Who doesn't want to see the best roadside barbecue in Hawaii? Who doesn't want to see that? Everyone wants to know what it is. In case you go there, you want to be like, oh, yeah, I fucking saw this place on that one show. That's a great show. You guys watch that?
I watch it all the time. I actually,
Yes, thank you.
when I go to a new city, I fucking look up what shows or what restaurants have
Yes.
been on that show. Like Charleston, dude, Charleston's fucking lit up with restaurants that are on diners, drive-ins, and dives.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's a fucking good show, and I don't care what anyone says. Ian, do you watch it?
I do not, but as you guys know, that's a trend. I don't really watch much of anything on television unless it's sports or Netflix.
This is the guy that doesn't watch Game of Thrones. He doesn't watch all that shit. He literally he says he'll binge watch it, but Alex, we were talking about that in like November, so he still hasn't been binge watch it. So yeah, Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. That's a great fucking show. That's number 4 on my list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions. Alex, let's move on. Number 3 for you on this list.
Number 3 for me, Planet Earth. Everyone talks about how captivating and beautiful this shit is, the scenery on what Discovery or History. Dude, every time I turn that shit on, fucking fall asleep. I I really don't give two shits about what fucking the jungle in Africa looks like from 10,000 feet above, slow motion with fucking gazelle running down. I'll just watch Lion King. I really don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's kind of boring, and it'll show like, and the salmon move upstream every year. Like it's like get someone on there that fucking can captivate us, man. Like get like Snoop Dogg. Did you see the one where Snoop Dogg was narrating it on YouTube? That was electric, dude. Fucking electric. It's always so boring, and they'll get like
Yeah, they
Morgan
need to
Freeman to
spice
do
it
it.
up.
Yeah, they'll get Morgan Freeman to do it, but that guy's voice, he can put you to sleep at the right tone if you wanted to, and that's pretty much how he talks during it. So whatever, that show sucks too. I agree. Ian, number 3 for you on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
Number 3 for me, it's a show I enjoyed, just like I talked about with Seinfeld at number 5. Number 3, I liked Saved by the Bell growing up. Had a huge crush on Kelly Kapowski. Still waiting for Tiffany Amber Thiessen to respond to a few MySpace messages from back in the day. But the thing is, once you look back at it, that timeline just didn't add up. And it really bothers me now that I'm older that they spent like 6, 7, 8 years in high school. And no one really ever said anything about it or had an issue with it.
It just shows the public education system.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, in Boy Meets World, Mr. Feeney taught them in every grade they were ever in. He taught them in college. He taught them when they were young. Every grade, Mr. Feeney was their teacher. So, yeah, that's like those school shows. They always do that. They have like the same teachers, and you feel like they're in high school for like 10 years. Yeah, and also, I thought you were going to go a different way with that. When you go back and watch all the shows that you used to love when you were little, they suck now. They like don't hold up. You know what I mean? Like the old school Nickelodeon shows, like some of them are okay, but some of them don't hold up at all.
They do. And another thing I forgot to mention about Saved by the Bell, the Miss Bliss years, it was in Indiana. And they make that known during that season that it's in Indiana. And then all of a sudden, Lisa, Screech, Jesse, and Zach, they all moved to the same high school in California. That's odd.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky, huh? Lucky coincidence. But yeah, I liked Saved by the Bell growing up, but like I will not sit down and watch it now. It's like they're all like shitty to me now. I don't know. Number 3 for me on this list. So I watched the first couple episodes of the show. Everybody ranted and raved about it. Now, as you guys know, I've made it very public on the show. I'm a huge Netflix person. I don't really watch cable TV, but like when I sit and watch a Netflix show, I'll binge watch it. Everyone ranted and raved about this show. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll watch it. Orange is the New Black is fucking terrible. What a dumb, fucking, stupid show that is. It was a waste of my time. The only cool scene was Laura Prepon. It shows her tits in the first 5-10 minutes, whatever. Other than that, I was out. And the only reason I liked that was because I was a huge That 70s Show fan, and to see Hot Donna like that was, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty nice. But other than that, the show fucking sucks. Terrible show. Have you guys seen that?
I watch it for the tits with my wife. Not gonna lie.
Oh. Yeah, so you're all in. Tits out for the boys. Let's move on. Alex, number 2 for you on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
Number 2 for me is also the same way as Orange is the New Black with you. Everybody talked about this show. Oh, you got to watch. It's on Netflix. Fuller House. fucking blows. Oh my
It was
god,
terrible.
dude! I only,
It was
I only
so
got three
terrible.
episodes in. 3 episodes in, and I had to quit. I mean, granted, they look hot as shit now, all grown up, but
Dude,
it's a train wreck.
it was a train wreck. And the funny thing is, my fiance like loves like keeping up with the Kardashians and like shows like that like she knows they're bad, but she's just like, I don't know, I just like to watch them. So when Fuller House came out, she was like, oh, I gotta watch this. We watched like the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and she looked at me, she's like, this is pretty fucking bad, like this is really terrible. And I was like, oh god, this is awful, I can't even watch anymore. I think I texted Ian, and he was like, dude, if you watch this, I was like, oh my god, it's fucking horrific, it's terrible. I agree with you on that one, Alex. Ian, number 2 for you on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
I ended up trooping through it and watching the entire series. Wish I hadn't. But the one thing that ruined that for me was, watching Full House growing up and then watching it end. And then later, like in my late teenage years, early 20s, finding out that Bob Saget was as filthy as he was in his stand-up, it ruined it. Like, I was like, I can't ever watch that show again and picture Bob Saget as a wholesome family guy, because he's not. But number 2 for me, I was late to the party on Breaking Bad. I never watched it on AMC. I watched it on Netflix, so I binge watched it and finished it in about 2 weeks. And I think that's why I might have be so critical of it, but I thought the ending of it was atrocious. I do not like the ending to the series. Just not a fan of it.
I completely disagree. I thought it was good. I thought they left it open, and I thought that it kind of gave you peace as a Breaking Bad fan toward the end. I don't know, Alex, you watch the show, right?
I watched it, yes. I thought it was a good ending. I liked it. For me, same way. I thought they left it open. They could bring it back.
Hold on. Repeat that. Your audio messed up. Go ahead and repeat that. Sorry.
I thought it was a good ending. That they left it open. They could either end it as it was with the ending they had, or bring it back if need be. But I liked the ending the way it was.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it as well. Ian, you suck. Number 2 for me on my list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions, Mad Men. Everybody loves that show. Great show. Everybody says, oh, it's so awesome. Don Draper, it's a great show. Fuck that show. That show sucks.
Yep.
Mad Men was terrible. It's so boring. It's so boring. If you can make it through, I don't see how people binge watch that show without sleeping all day. It's like you have mono laying in bed all day watching that show. It's miserable. I mean, you feel like a zombie watching it. It's so stupid. Dumbest show I've ever seen. I could fucking care less about that show. I hate it. Did you guys watch that show?
I tried watching it, and it was terrible. Like, I'm in the same camp as you. I thought it was incredibly boring. Was not a fan of it. Tried giving it maybe a few weeks, and just nothing happened for me. I was like, well, this is terrible.
Sucks. So terrible. And AMC does a really good job with their shows. That one sucked. Not a fan of it. And I think it's like top 5 best shows of all time too on that list, and I completely disagree with that. Here it is, number 1 on our list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions. Alex, what's number 1 for you?
Well, this will piss both of you off. Walking Dead, not a fan. I tried watching it in Afghanistan when I could binge watch shit and catch up on it, and the quality, it just seems so slow to me. Everybody's like, oh, you're killing all the fucking walkers and all this. After watching Game of Thrones, it's a snooze fest to me.
I completely agree, and that's how we were trying to get. Ian's a huge Walking Dead fan. I like it as well. Ian loves it, and that's how we were trying to get him to watch Game of Thrones. Was like, hey, dude, you know how much you like Walking Dead? Well, Game of Thrones is like 1 billion times that. So I like The Walking Dead. I think they're running out of things to do, though. It's kind of they spin their wheels a lot.
I think I was too late to the party on it.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, I like it. I think I'm so far invested now that I just keep watching it. You know what I mean? Ian, number 1 for you on your list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions.
Number 1 deals with one of my favorite shows of all time, The Office. Very unpopular opinion. The show was never the same after Steve Carell left as Michael Scott, but I liked the Ed Helms years where Andy Bernard was in charge, because without the Andy Bernard years, we would never been introduced to probably one of the best characters ever on that show, which was Robert California.
I was going to say, I didn't know if you were going to go there. I think Robert California is a top 10 character of The Office. So good. He was so funny. Everything about that character is so good. I agree with you. The show went downhill when Steve Carell left. Obviously, Michael Scott he was the best character on the show and arguably the best TV character of all time. But the show's quality did go down after that. It was still funny. The later seasons are still really funny. If you're a fan of The Office, I mean, you love the show, but it wasn't the same without him. But Robert California was hilarious. So I completely agree with you on that. Number one on my list of top 5 unpopular TV opinions, and this feels so good that I finally have a platform where people will hear it and hear me get to talk about it. I posted on Twitter. I posted on Facebook for like the past 5 years. I get ridiculed nonstop when I post this. The worst show of all time is Friends. That show fucking sucks. Terrible show. Unbelievably terrible show. Like I can't make it through an episode of that stupid show. The only good thing about that show is the intro song. And that song is fucking annoying. Yeah. Fuck that show. Fuck Friends. I will challenge anybody. That show sucks. Overrated. Terrible show. The Office blows that out of the water. Seinfeld blows that out of the water. Terrible show. But that's our top 5 unpopular TV opinions. More of a negative top 5, but still really fun to do. So check that out via Twitter. It was a trending topic. You can submit your unpopular TV opinions, and you can comment on ours and tell us what you thought of those. But yeah, that's our top 5 this week. So let's move on. Football is back. It's in full swing. I think we're kind of the first week of the NFL. You got college football's in full swing. Now that that's kind of died down a little bit, we're settling in for what's going to be a long, hopefully very good season of football. Ohio State had a big-ish game preparing for Oklahoma, basically. But Ohio State took on Tulsa this past Saturday. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch any of the Ohio State games because I actually work on Saturdays. However, I did get to listen to it on the radio, which I'm a radio guy. I like to listen to play-by-play, so it's actually pretty nice. But Ohio State defeated Tulsa. For those of you who did not see it on Saturday, they won 48-3. JT Barrett went 14-22 for 149 yards. He also had 55 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Mike Weber looked really good for the Buckeyes. He had 17 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel continued to play well, 8 carries for 78 yards, 5 receptions for 62 yards. Best thing, Buckeyes look really good on defense. Obviously, they're playing Tulsa. I get it, people. But they had 6 turnovers. 2 of them returned for touchdowns. They look great. That game is it's a primer. It's to get them ready for the biggest test in a while. This coming Saturday, they play Oklahoma in Norman. It's going to be a huge game. Ohio State comes into the game ranked number 3 in the AP polls. Oklahoma comes in ranked number 14 in the AP polls. OSU is actually the favorite in Vegas's eyes coming into this game. Ohio State opens up as a 1.5-point favorite on the road in Norman. So Oklahoma already lost earlier in the year. They lost to Houston. They say that you can run the table and still make the college football playoffs. So this is obviously a huge game for the Sooners. Today, we're recording this on Thursday, so I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but Oklahoma's backup quarterback, Austin Kendall, told Sooner Sports TV that Baker Mayfield, the starting quarterback for the Sooners, will, quote, light up the Ohio State defense. He said, quote, I think they have a really basic defense. Baker, he'll light them up. I'm really looking forward to it. If my number's called, I think I can do the same, end quote. What are your thoughts on this, Ian?
That's bold. That's very bold, especially from a backup quarterback in the Big 12. Ohio State, year in and year out, doesn't matter if they've got a big name on that defense or not. They put together a solid defensive unit, and I think Urban prides himself in building an equal team as far as offense and defense. Baker Mayfield is a good to great college quarterback. I'm not going to throw him out there and say he's great. He is very good. I think just like you said with Oklahoma coming into this, saying they have a lot to prove with this and they got a lot riding on the line, I think Ohio State's got a lot riding on the line too, this being their first big matchup of the year. And I like I said, I think it's a bold statement. I don't think Ohio State's defense is going to let up, and I think it's going to be a great game, but I think Ohio State comes out on top. But just a bold statement for a guy that rides the pine to make. He's just trying to get into their heads. It's the stupidest move you could have made because it's locker room material.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand that move. First of all, who the fuck is Austin Kendall? Nobody knows who the fuck that is. So shut up. If I'm their coach, Austin Kendall's running gassers until the fucking sun goes down. Why would you give, like you said, locker room material? Why would you give a team motivation coming into your house? You already have an advantage. Oklahoma already had an advantage. Norman's a tough place to go and play. You got a young Ohio State team. They're the youngest team in the country. You got a young team coming to your place. You're trying to get right in the voters' eyes again. Why would you do that? Why would you say anything? Why poke the bear? It doesn't make sense. It's a really, really dumb move by that kid. I don't understand why he would say that. Just baffling, just bananas to go out of your way and talk shit about a team. It does not make sense to me at all. I think it's going to be a good game. I don't see how Ohio State's the favorite in that game. They really haven't played anybody yet. Oklahoma's had a tough matchup against Houston, who's in a dogfight with Cincinnati as we're recording this right now, so we're all keeping an eye on that as well. But just a weird move by their quarterback. I think it's going to be a good game, though. I really do. If I'm betting on that, I'm not taking that. Those points mean nothing. 1.5. I mean, no, I'm not touching that. I actually probably wouldn't bet on that because it would make the whole game miserable for me. But Alex, you have any thoughts on this?
I honestly think Ohio State's going to win that game. I always think Oklahoma's overrated year in and year out, and they always prove to be overrated. I hate Ohio State, but I honestly think that they're a better team than Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think Ohio State's got a really, really good defense. Like I said, they're really young. They are the youngest team in the country. Thankfully, they have a veteran quarterback who's played in big games. So we'll see. It's going to be a really good game, and it's a tough road test. But yeah, that's Ohio State's got Oklahoma this Saturday. I think game's at 7:30. So that should be a fun one for sure. But let's move on. The NFL is back. It's back, and I could not be happier. I'm a huge NFL guy. And before we get into talking about the Bengals and Browns, I don't know if you guys saw this. The Hall of Fame actually released their nominees for this year's induction class. These are the first-year nominees in the NFL induction class. If I can pull it up real quick. I think I may have deleted it, and I did. All right. So this is this year's first-time eligible nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You got Hines Ward from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jason Taylor, Miami Dolphins, Donovan McNabb of the Eagles, Brian Dawkins of the Eagles, Bob Sanders of the Colts, LaDainian Tomlinson of the Chargers, Joey fucking Porter of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and last but not least, Chad Johnson, a.k.a. Ocho Cinco, of our Cincinnati Bengals. So I thought I'd throw that in leading into the Bengals. What do you think about Ocho? You think he has a shot, first ballot Hall of Famer, Alex?
Maybe not first shot. I definitely think he eventually will with all his stats and numbers. I like the guy. I loved his character. He was a handful. He was awesome in the media, and even now on his Twitter and everything, if you can't guard him, don't make a comment.
Yeah, I agree. Ian?
I agree with Alex. I don't think he's a first ballot guy. But the NFL Hall of Fame has a knack for not only looking at statistical resume, but the character of a player. And Chad was just A+ in the books off the field. He was a character on the field that, a lot of Bengals fans love. I'm not a Bengals fan, and I love the guy. But even off the field, the things he did in the community, the things he did for kids, just made him an A+ citizen. He'll get in the Hall. I don't think he's going to be a first ballot guy, but there's a spot for him in Canton.
I don't know. I love Chad. I'm a huge Chad guy. I think the Bengals are Mike Brown said he's open to the idea of doing a Ring of Honor, which they don't have, which is bananas. Paul Brown Stadium next year for the Bengals' 50th anniversary as a franchise. I think Chad absolutely 100% deserves his jersey retired at Paul Brown Stadium. He's one of the greatest Bengals ever in my eyes. However, I don't know if he gets into the Hall of Fame. Definitely not first ballot. I mean, out of that list, we talked before the show, LaDainian Tomlinson's probably the only first ballot Hall of Famer. You could arguably say Hines Ward with his numbers, the Super Bowls he won. But LT's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Chad, I don't know if he gets in. And here's why. T.O. has way better numbers than Chad does, and T.O.'s not in the Hall of Fame. And I think he's been up for it twice, I think. So, and he's not in. Until T.O. gets in, Chad's not getting in. They were kind of the same kind of guys. I mean, T.O. was way worse off the field than Chad was. Like you said, Chad, good character guy and everything like that. Terrell Owens jersey, Alex. That's incredible that you have that. But, yeah, T.O. was like a shitty person off the field too, so you never know. It could throw that in there, but T.O.'s numbers were incredible. And for a while, he was unguardable. You could not guard him. He's like Antonio Brown at that time. So, I don't know if Chad gets in, but I think LT, without a doubt, first ballot Hall of Famer. But let's segue into our Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals, like I said, in my best of, they defeated the New York Jets on the road, Week 1, September 11th in New York City. Very tough game. The Bengals were able to pull it out thanks to a last-second field goal. Well, not last second, but 40 seconds or whatever remaining by Mike Nugent. Bengals ended up winning 23-22, huge win. Andy Dalton went 23 of 30 for 366 yards, a touchdown, and a fucking terrible interception. AJ Green, 12 receptions, 180 yards, and the touchdown. Absolutely dominated Darrelle Revis. Brandon LaFell, like Alex mentioned earlier, looked really good, really good. 4 receptions for a sneaky 91 yards. The Jets, a couple notes from the game. Jets dominated the time of possession, dominated it. The Bengals were far less penalized, though, which is good. You want to see that. You don't want to see penalties. Bengals only had like 50 yards in penalties. Jets averaged 5.1 yards per carry. That's terrible, especially the way D'Angelo Williams looked against the Redskins the other night. They got to get that together. They got to get the run defense together. It looked really, really bad. Matt Forte ran all over the Bengals. Dalton, like I mentioned earlier, my worst of was sacked 7 times, a career high. The offensive line's got to get it together. I know that Jets front 4 is fantastic, but still, this is coming into this season. This Bengals line was ranked 6th, the 6th best line in the league. So they were one of the best last year. You're not used to seeing Andy on the ground that much. I mean, it was bad performance by them. So they got to get together against the Steelers team, and they got the Steelers coming up. Week 2, they can get a leg up in the AFC North. It's going to be a tough, tough game. It's on the road. It's in Pittsburgh, hostile environment. I don't know if you guys saw it. The NFL said that the refs have been told to keep an eye on dirty plays and stuff because of the history of these teams. It's going to be crazy, man. It's a war with these teams. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough, tough game. We tend to play better against Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh than we do in Cincinnati. It's weird, but I know I'm looking forward to it. Alex, what were your thoughts on the Jets game?
Well, honestly, I didn't get to watch any of it. I got to listen to some of it on the radio. I was working at Comic-Con with my school that I work for. So I didn't get to – I was tracking the whole thing on my phone, watching play-by-play, and then towards the end I got to listen to the last little bit on the radio. So everything I heard and was all read off the internet or off my phone.
Well, that was titillating, Alex. The game was
yeah.
The game was it was a good game, really close. But Yeah, I mean, nothing else to say. It's a good win put in the books, and hopefully they can get it together for week 2 against the Steelers. Another noteworthy news actually happened today. The Bengals claimed cornerback Kivari, I think I'm saying that wrong, but whatever, Kivari Russell. They claimed him after he was waived by the Chiefs. He was a former third-round pick in the 2016 draft out of Notre Dame. So pretty good depth pickup by the Bengals. But yeah, not much else going on with them. Just waiting for Sunday. Hopefully they can come out and play well against the Steelers and get fucking pressure on that fat ass Roethlisberger. So we'll see. We'll see what team shows up, but don't really worry until about week 3, week 4. That's when teams start to. That's when they start to get in their offenses and everything. It just sucks playing these division games so early in the season. But they got no. We got their running back. What's his? I'm drawing a fucking blank. Why am I drawing a blank?
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. They got no Le'Veon Bell. Why the fuck am I drawing a blank? He's on my fantasy team. But no Le'Veon Bell, so that helps. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Let's move on. Let's talk Cleveland Browns. So recap this. I'll run through some stuff real quick, and then I'll toss it over to you. The Browns lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in week 1, 29-10. RG3 did not look good. 12 of 26 for 190 yards, no touchdowns. He did throw a pick. Isaiah Crowell, he looked all right, Ian, from what I saw in the highlights. He had 12 carries for 62 yards and a touchdown. Corey Coleman had 2 receptions for 69 yards. That's your guys' rookie that everybody seems to be pretty excited about. Terrell Pryor seemed like he did all right. 3 receptions for 68 yards. What I noticed when I looked at the stats for the game, the Browns were 2 of 10 on third down. That's super bad. That's really bad. Eagles dominated you guys in the time of possession. Next up for the Browns, they will have the Baltimore Ravens, but unfortunately it will be without quarterback Robert Griffin III. RG3 fractured a bone in his shoulder against the Eagles, and he will be out for at least 8 weeks. He has been placed on the IR. Another Browns quarterback goes down. Ian, I'm going to toss it over to you. Let's hear some of that sadness like only you can spit it.
Well, I'm not going to touch on RG3 yet. I'm going to talk about the game. Came out, the first drive, Philly had the ball. Carson Wentz did not look like a rookie. We made him look really, really good. Our defense seemed like we had low awareness at all times during that first drive. The backbreaker was the first third down. On that drive, we committed a penalty to give him a first down. And from there, Wentz took advantage of that and carved us up and down the field. It was apparent throughout the game that Jordan Matthews is going to be a favorite target of the rookie quarterback. Then when the Browns took the field in the first quarter, their offense, there was nothing gelling. Just short little throws, runs up the middle, nothing getting going. They couldn't get a first down in the first quarter. They tried a lot of trickery plays early on, including a fake punt on 4th and 5 when they were on like their own 35. So I know Hugh likes to be a little flashy at times, but that seemed bold to me that early, and it was a terrible draw up because you knew it was coming. Duke Johnson was in the backfield. The punter was lined up as like a blocker. So, I mean, they knew that it was coming. Defense came back out. Ray Horton back with the defensive unit. They settled in. They started playing well. They started getting back to Carson Wentz. They started putting him on the ground. They, by all sense and purposes, they came out and they came back better than ever after that first drive, and they really started bringing the pressure. It wasn't until the second quarter until the Browns offense got a first down. You mentioned Robert Griffin III did not look good. He actually wasn't terrible in that first half. I had to watch the game on my computer due to living in a Cincinnati market, but his first 3 incompletions, 2 drop passes by Gary Barnidge and a drop pass by Corey Coleman. So, I mean, he was completing passes in the first half. He was accurate. You talked about Pryor. He showed that in the preseason. He loved going to Terrell Pryor in the preseason. I think Pryor is going to be a great part of that offensive unit moving forward. Corey Coleman had a couple big catches. This game was determined by momentum. and I wrote about that on our blog. You know, we get to halftime. We were down 13-7 at halftime, and just the momentum, it was terrible. Philadelphia just came in second half ready to play. They played a much better game. RG3 started throwing crazy, couldn't get anything going on offense. It was like that first quarter where we couldn't get a first down. They were, I think, 68 or 69 yards of total offense in that second half. Jared, you talked about it, that third down conversion, terrible stat, 2 of 10. I mean, you can't do anything. Crowell did have a nice game. He ran for just under 70 yards, and that's nice because it's refreshing because we never got a run game started under Mike Pettin. And one thing that I did notice is we were using both backs with Crowell and Duke Johnson out of the backfield. Crowell used more as a running back. Duke Johnson was coming out for passes. He's dangerous when they use him like that. The targets are there, but again, consistency in quarterback play is the name of the game when you try to put points on the board offensively. Another big stat, 0 reception from Gary Barnidge. It sucked. They went to him 3 times, 2 of them were drops. So
that's crazy. That's crazy that Barnidge didn't get involved. I mean, he's your guy's best player on offense, no doubt. So
yeah,
that's crazy, but crazy. I mean, crazy. And I didn't get to watch the game. Obviously, I was watching the Bengals. But from what I saw in the highlights, apparently the Eagles drafted Joe Montana because Carson Wentz against the Browns, obviously it's a home run. I mean, you guys made him look like he was the best quarterback in the league from what I saw.
We did. We made him look a lot better than what I think he actually is right now. And as far as his development goes, I think Carson Wentz is going to be an okay quarterback. We talked about that leading up to the draft. I just didn't want to take a quarterback, but if they put some more targets out there for Wentz, he's going to be okay. He relied really, really big time on Jordan Matthews. Like I said, he tore up Joe Hayden.
Yeah, Jordan. I mean, Matthews is the best receiver on their team. It's like A.J. Green of the Bengals. I mean, he's not near as good. I'm just saying Andy relies on A.J. Green. You always have a receiver that your quarterback relies on. I mean, Jordan Matthews is a good wide receiver to lean on. I mean, especially for a rookie. But the balls Wentz was throwing looked pretty good, at least.
Yeah, I mean, his mechanics were there. He looked extremely poised for a rookie quarterback.
But he's playing the Browns. I'm no offense, Browns fans. It's facts are facts. I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
When you go to that, what you mentioned, the time of possession, that's what kills the Browns. Is their defense will look tough, and then all of a sudden they're playing 40 minutes of a game. Guys wear down, guys get hurt, guys get sore. Second half, that's when the Eagles took over. So.
When does Josh Gordon come back?
I don't think that's been decided upon yet.
Well, Josh McCown's going to need somebody because, I mean, the Browns, it's a mess every year. Something always happens to where it's an absolute mess. RG3 is made of glass. He's a paper doll.
You text me that. You said he's made of glass. I said, no, he's made of powder. I feel terrible for the guy. I feel awful for him. He had such a promising rookie year, but he is just so fragile. He needs to be wrapped in bubble wrap at all time. And that's not even on the football field. That's just living day-to-day life.
Dude, he's like the Berminator from Little Giants. He needs to walk in with all the pads and stuff, can hardly walk. Terrible. His man bun is it's like a offense to every living person on earth, too. It was terrible. But just awful for the Browns to give RG3 that kind of money and then him go down. But RG3 going down week 1, he's in midseason form. So what else can you say about the guy? Let's move on though. Past is the past, Ian. So you always got this week. You can get some revenge on that fucker Art Modell. You guys got the Ravens this week. So hopefully you guys can get some revenge. But let's move on. OSR mailbag. Let's answer some questions from the fans and our readers. Let me pull these up real quick. This is great radio. Pulling up something you guys can't even see. All right. First question from Mr. Will Cheserek. He wants to know Ohio State, Oklahoma on Saturday night. What do you guys think of the media trashing Ohio State's schedule each year? Alex, you are one of our resident Ohio State haters. What do you think of the media trashing OSU's schedule this year?
I mean, it's apparent every year, year in, year out, everyone talks shit about not just Ohio State, but the Big Ten schedule in general. Me being an SEC fan, we do have a lot of good teams, but once you get late in the season, it doesn't really fucking matter. They just need to, the college playoffs need to expand because you could have a trash schedule all year, but it's college football. Somebody's going to show up and fucking take down that top guy. You know, SEC is going to lose the Big Ten every now and then. We saw that week 1. But
here's the thing. Ohio State's schedule is always going to get trashed because they'll start their season off with a few cupcake games. Everyone does it. Oklahoma and Norman is a really, really tough game. If you look at who's in the top 10 from the Big Ten, you got 3 teams in the top 10. You got Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, I think, is number 9. Then you got Iowa rounding out the top 25. You got Michigan State in the top 25 as well. Ohio State plays Michigan State, Michigan, and Wisconsin this year. So they got a pretty tough schedule if you're looking at the Big Ten. Now, they can't help who they have to play in their conference. I know the SEC is, quote-unquote, the most dominant conference year in and year out. It is what it is. Ohio State can't help who they play. The Big Ten is still a pretty damn good conference. Ian?
Jared, you know me. I'm a pretty level-headed fan when it comes to the Buckeyes. I'm a fan. I'm not like 95% of the fans in Ohio who wear scarlet shades for 12 weeks during the year and ignore facts. But here's the thing. This year, the year in and year out dogging of Ohio State's schedule is garbage. You know why people love to hate Ohio State? It's because they're a top team that doesn't belong in any of the other conferences. Because everyone knows the SEC plays the toughest schedules every year. And I'm not taking a slide on you, Alex. I know you're an LSU guy, but I want to look at a couple teams real quick. Alabama, their non-conference schedule. They opened up with USC, who was depleted, shouldn't have been ranked in the top 25. Western Kentucky, Kent, and then they play Chattanooga in week 11. Now, your next ranked SEC team, Tennessee at 15. But hold on a minute. I want to take a quick jab. There's 4 Big Ten teams between Alabama and Tennessee. So, Tennessee, let's look at their non-conference schedule. Appalachian State, 20-13
Which they should
overtime
have
win.
lost.
Yeah, 20-13 overtime win. Everybody wants to talk about Michigan versus Appalachian State 5, 6, 10, whatever years ago. Every one of those fans that dogged Michigan about that, now they're like, well, you know what? Appalachian State belongs. They're a good team. Nothing's changed. Appalachian State was a good team back then. They're a good team now. There's nothing that's changed. Apparently, now Tennessee has a huge rivalry with Virginia Tech, so they're on the non-conference schedule. They've got Ohio University, and in Week 9 they play the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech, so that's a tough non-conference schedule. People want to bitch about OSU playing Tulsa in Week 2. You know the difference between OSU and Tulsa? All it is depth. Okay? All week we heard, well, Tulsa gave them fits to start with. This team starts sluggish. Ohio State's in trouble. Just like the Bowling Green game. You know what that Ohio State game is for teams like Bowling Green and Tulsa? It's their national championship. So, yeah, they're going to play tough the first quarter or two. That means Ohio State can't go up 35-0 after 5 possessions. But then when you enter in that depth factor, that's the difference. Ohio State wears teams down like that. And so does teams like Alabama and the powerhouses. They have more depth. Every powerhouse team is the same. Quit bitching about the schedules. Since the college football playoffs began, they've gotten it right. Strength of schedule doesn't really play a major factor anymore. The cream rises to the top. You're always going to have the best teams in the end. I agree with Alex. They could expand it, but the last 2 years, I think they've gotten it right both years.
I agree. I like the playoff format way better than the BCS too. I mean, it's just way more exciting. I agree, Ian. I agree with everything you said. I think this year, I think Alabama is a really good team, but that's such a classic Saban move to put a cupcake game in like week 11 that way his guys can rest up and stuff. I mean, such a cupcake game. But thank you, Will, for the question. We appreciate it. Another Ohio State question real quick, and we'll move on with some other questions from some other teams. Travis Higgins wants to know, do you guys think the young Buckeyes team can handle the experience and first real road test against Oklahoma? Ian, I'll let you real quick answer this one.
I think it's going to be a one-possession game, but I think Ohio State comes out on top.
I think it's going to be close as well. If the Ohio State's defense can get pressure on Baker Mayfield, I think they'll win the game. They can't turn the ball over, obviously. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be really, really close. It's going to be a really good game. Thank you, Travis, for the question. Dean Lanier wants to know, why do you guys think the Bengals continue to have Russell Bodine at center? Dean does not approve of Bodine. Now, if you read our website, which is ohsportsradio.com, by the way, you can go there and check out our website. Ian wrote a really good blog about the Browns, so check that one out. But I actually blogged this a while ago. I said Russell Bodine has to go. I think the experience with him, the Bengals were trying to see how things would work out. He's been a pretty inconsistent center in his whole time in the NFL. He hasn't really progressed at all. So I agree, Dean. I don't like Bodine at center, but right now I don't really know what the Bengals' plans are going to be unless they draft another center in the 2017 draft. They have that Christian Westerman from Arizona State that they drafted in this year's draft, but he's a guard that they could move to center. But I don't know. I don't know. I just hope they can protect Andy. That's all I care about, Dean. But I agree. I think Bodine's a bad choice at center as well. And last question, Mr. Ken Rice wants to know, will a UC win on Thursday? So by the time you're listening to this, you already know if they won or lost. But right now, we do not know. Will a UC win over Houston, have them crack the top 25? I think most definitely it has to. Ian?
Especially with the way rankings are going this year, and Alex, I'm sorry to bring it up, but Wisconsin's win over LSU, Wisconsin wasn't ranked, and they jumped all the way to 10. There's a lot of teams that have been doing that. They win and they weren't in the top 25, and they don't go to 25. They jump to like 15. There was another team that did it, I forget, but yeah, I think definitely, especially 3-0, and then a win being in prime time on Thursday night with no other games against the number 6 team in the country. Yeah, a win for sure gets them into the top 25.
For sure, it has to. So right now, update on that game. Third quarter, Houston is up 12-10. UC has the ball. Looks like they're driving. Second and goal on Houston's 4. So that's a little live update right now. So like I said, it's pointless because by the time you're listening to this, you already know if UC won or lost. But for us right now, it's we're
living the history.
Updated. Yeah, we are literally live with this game right now, keeping an eye on that. So and actually, some of our UC bloggers are actually at the game right now, going nuts. They won't stop texting us, so our phones are going off every 2 seconds. But yeah, hopefully UC can pull off this win. But that's our OSR mailbag segment. Let's move on to our NFL picks of the week. Now, I was thinking we need some music for NFL picks of the week. We cannot legally use any of the music on TV, but I got a song. Oh wait, my phone's messed up. It's playing something. I can't get this to turn off. We're just gonna have to play through it. We're just gonna have to play through this. So NFL picks of the week. Are you guys ready? Ian, what was our picks from last week? Can you recap us on the totals? Who won? Who lost?
Last week, coming in at third, me, 6-10. Second place, Alex, 9-7. And for the first week of the NFL, Jared, 12-4.
That's right. 12-4. So you are welcome if you followed my picks. Hopefully you won some money. Let's get into it. I wish I could turn this dang music off. I don't know how to do it, folks. Week 2 of the NFL season. We have the New York Jets in the Mean Green on the road taking on Sexy Rexy and his fat-ass brother, the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Alex, who are you taking in this one? Thursday Night Football. It's actually on right now, but we don't know the score.
Jets, Jets.
Ian, who are you taking in this one?
I'm going the Jets.
I'm taking the Jets as well. I hate Rex Ryan and the Ryan brothers.
A lot's changed in 1 week.
I know, so I'm back on that bandwagon. I wish I could turn this music off. Dang, I'm sorry to anybody who's listening, ESPN in general. Next game on the card, we have mine and Alex's Cincinnati Bengals on the road taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Alex, who do you have in this one?
Fuck Pittsburgh. Cincinnati all day. I don't even give a shit if we're a 50-point underdog. Cincinnati.
Ian.
I'm going Steelers at home.
Fuck you, Ian. I don't care if they're playing the 1985 Chicago Bears. I will take the Cincinnati Bengals every week this season. I'm taking the Bengals on the road to go 2-0, get a leg up on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Fuck Pittsburgh. Cincinnati in this one. Next game on the card, we have the Tennessee Titans and Marcus Mariota on the road taking on the Detroit Lions. Ian, who do you have in this one?
You've got me believing in Jim Bob Cooter ball. I'm going with the Lions over the Titans.
Alex, who do you have in this one?
I got Detroit in this one.
Ooh. I don't know who I'm going to take in this one. That's right, folks. I'm doubling down on the Detroit Lions 2 weeks in a row. Matt Stafford, the most average quarterback in the NFL. I'm taking him Jim Bob Cooter ball all the way, baby. I'm taking the Lions to go 2-0 for, I don't know. I don't follow the Lions, so maybe first time in a long time. I don't know. But
First time in history.
yeah, I think it's the first time in history. You're right. The Detroit Lions. What is this part of the song? Oh, wait, it went backwards. Okay, sorry. I don't know. I can't turn this music off, ESPN. I'm sorry. My phone's messed up. I need a new one. Next game on the card, we have the Baltimore Ravens on the road taking on the real Browns, by the way. The real Browns, the Baltimore Ravens. On the road taking on Ian's fake Cleveland Browns. Ian, who do you have in this one?
Fuck you, Art Medell. I'm taking the Browns.
Alex, who do you have in this one?
Joe Cool's going to throw all over him. Baltimore.
Is Joe Flacco elite? That's the question. Age-old question. I'm taking the Ravens in this one. I'd like to take the Browns because I hate Baltimore, but the Browns are a mess. I'm taking the Ravens. Next game, we have the Dallas Cowboys on the road taking on the Washington Redskins. Ian, who do you have in this one?
This game could go either way. Cowboys looked decent in week 1. Redskins look like shit, but I figure the Redskins will figure it out first. I'm taking Washington.
Ooh, Alex, who do you have in this one?
Dak Prescott is going to take off. Dallas wins their first game of the season. Romo loses his job. Dallas.
I'm taking the Redskins. They look pretty good against the Steelers for like 1 quarter. So I'm taking the Redskins at home in this one. Next game, we have the New Orleans Saints with the worst defense probably of all time, taking on the New York Football Giants. Ian, who do you have in this one?
The Giants team looked tough. Eli looks comfortable with those receivers. How could you not? With Beckham and Cruz coming back and then Sterling Shepard, I'm going with the Giants.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Alex, who do you have in this one?
I got the Giants as well.
I'm taking the G-Men in this one because I like Odell Beckham and I like Eli Manning. So Saints suck. Their defense sucks. Rob Ryan's fat ass ruined them. I'm taking the Giants in this one. Next game, we have the 49ers on the road taking on Cam and the Panthers. Ian, who do you have in this one?
I'm going Cam and the Panthers.
Alex, who do you have?
Kuechly and the Panthers.
Ooh, Kuechly, Cincinnati boy. I'm taking the Panthers as well in this one. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins on the road taking on the New England Patriots in Foxborough. Ian, who do you have in this one?
Jimmy G moves to 2-0. I'm going with the Pats.
Alex, who do you have in this one?
Miami, upsetting on the road.
Ooh, that's a big upset. I'm taking the Patriots. Garoppolo's sexy. He looked pretty good looking. What is this music? Oh, it went backwards again. I'm going to take the Patriots at home. It's a fortress. Belichick's the best ever. Next game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs on the road taking on the Texans. Ian.
I'm going with the Texans. Chiefs, it took them way too long to figure it out against the Chargers. Texans looked comfortable against the Bears. Should be a pretty good matchup, but I'll go Texans.
Yeah, my microphone keeps going in and out, so I'm sorry. My voice is actually leaving me as well, but we're on Chiefs Texans, right? Alex,
Houston.
Okay. Yeah, my voice is actually, it's like literally leaving my body right now. I'm taking the Texans in this one. Ian, next game we have the Seahawks on the road taking on the Rams. Who do you have in this one?
Seahawks all day. Rams look god awful.
Alex.
Seahawks.
I'm taking the Seahawks. Rams are a mess. Next game we have the Buccaneers on the road taking on the Cardinals. Ian.
My Cardinals figured out this week. They get to Jameis early and often. Going with the Cardinals.
Alex.
Cardinals.
Cardinals at home is going to be tough to beat. They should have won last week. I'm taking the Cardinals. Next game, we have Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road taking on the Chargers. Ian, who do you have in this one?
Chargers lost Keenan Allen for the season. Jaguars look good jagging off against the Packers. I'm going with Jacksonville.
Alex.
San Diego at home.
Ooh, I'm jagging off on this one. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next game, we have the Falcons on the road taking on the Raiders. The Raiders. Ian, who do you have in this one?
I'm going with the Raiders.
Alex, who you taking in this one?
Derek Carr and the Raiders.
I'm taking the Raiders at home. Next game, we have the Colts on the road taking on the Denver Broncos in Mile High. Trevor Siemian. Ian, who you taking in this one?
Broncos in this one. They're going to get to that beard early and often.
Alex.
Well, in this good old-fashioned horse fight, I'm going to take the Colts.
My voice is gone. I don't know. I literally can't talk. It's fucking terrible. It's the worst podcast ever. I'm taking the Broncos. I don't know. I'm taking the Broncos. Next game, we have the Packers Sunday Night Football taking on the Vikings. This fucking song. Just do me a solid one time, YouTube. Jesus Christ. Packers at Vikings Sunday Night Football. Ian, who you taking?
I'm going the Packers. They got Rodgers. They got everybody else healthy. They're looking tough. Taking them over the Vikings.
Alex.
Go Pack. I need Eddie Lacy to go the fuck off, too.
Rodgers, my fantasy quarterback. Go Pack, go. Monday Night Football, final game on the card. We have the Eagles on the road taking on the Bears. Ian, who you taking in this one?
I'm going with Joe Montana and the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz to
That's
take
right.
down the Bears.
Alex.
The Bears.
I'm taking the Bears as well at home, Monday Night Football. And those are our picks of the week. So, yeah, my voice is gone.
Wow,
It's
good thing your
absolutely
phone
gone.
got fixed.
Real quick, I don't know. I was on the line with tech support with AT&T. So I'm sorry, ESPN. I tried to get it to turn off. I don't know what happened. It just started playing. Really weird. AT&T fixed it. We're all good. So shout out to AT&T. I'm going to plug them real quick. We'll move on. Let me get a drink real quick. This is electric radio. I'll just cut all this out. I don't care, dude. I am dead right now.
Looks like he keeps giving Casper a blowjob.
Should I go into my Morgan Freeman?
Yes.
Dude, I have no voice. I'm like putting in a new piece of gum.
And
I'm
that's
like
when-
trying. Oh, this is bad.
That's when Jared realized he didn't have a voice in the middle of the OSR podcast. For weeks and weeks, he had been the head of the show, but then he needed the other guys to step up and bat for him.
For real, though, one time, can you guys do me a solid and just like take over the show? Let me sit back and relax like you fucking guys. I'm sitting here busting my vocal cords out and shit.
Take it
Terrible.
easy, Axel.
Absolutely electric radio right there when your voice goes out. Absolutely electric. So sorry to everyone who had to deal with that. But also, again, want to point out, completely sorry to ESPN. I don't know what happened. My phone just randomly started playing that one song. Really weird. Worked out though. Stopped playing it. So we're going to end the show. We have 2 more segments. Great for my voice. God damn, this sucks.
And then that's when Jared picked up the Yeti and took another drink because he needed another drink.
It's terrible. I'm almost out of water.
He was almost out of water. Some would say he would be in need of more water. And there he took it.
I'm really hurting right now. So we're going to do What's Good. It's just where we tell you something that's going on right now in our lives that we're really enjoying, whether it be a book, video game, music, movie, whatever. Alex, what's good?
Well, I'm really enjoying the Browns' misery with RG3 going down. I called this. I'm sorry, Ian. I'm not doing this because you're talking shit on my LSU Tigers. I wrote this down beforehand, but I called it as soon as they signed him. One of the guys I used to work with kept telling me I needed to switch to be a Cleveland fan because RG3 was going to take him to the promised land. I called it. He's more fragile than my mom's fucking fancy dishware that she keeps under the cabinet.
You need to tell that guy you work with to get his brain checked because that is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. But Ian, what's good, man?
What's good with me? Amos Lee's new album, Spirit, came out early September. Love this dude, soulful voice. The album was actually recorded in a church, and it sounds fantastic. The acoustics are great. Big Amos Lee fan. Album called Spirit.
Nice. What's good with me? I've been binge watching Last Chance U on Netflix. It's basically about a junior college, Eastern Mississippi Community College, and their JUCO school. Like I said, they get the worst. They get great players, but kids who just struggled with grades, been kicked out of school, etc. They get them to come there, and they fucking dominate. It's a great show, great docu-series. If you're a football guy, check it out. So let's end the show with a bold prediction for this upcoming week of sports. Ian, I'll let you start this off. Go ahead. What's your bold prediction?
My bold prediction for this week, Josh McCown will duplicate his performance from a year ago against the Baltimore Ravens. Fuck you, Art Modell. In which he passed for a franchise record 457 yards en route to an overtime victory. Browns take him down. Josh McCown goes back into the history books.
Alex, bold prediction.
Bold prediction. Josh McCown breaks his fucking collarbone. Browns are down 2 quarterbacks.
Ooh. My bold prediction is Jimmy Garoppolo goes down with an injury this week. They're down to their 3rd-string quarterback. That's a bold prediction. I don't know. I just pulled it from my ass. But that's our show. That's episode number 18 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show. Electric Choking by me. Just great, when you have silence and someone's voice goes out on a live podcast. So that's really cool. I hope you guys enjoy that part specifically. But thank you to everyone who continues to support us. Like I mentioned earlier, check out our website, ohsportsradio.com. Ian wrote a really great piece about the Browns on there. Check out my Bengals one. Alex is doing great stuff with the Crew, who are fucking terrible this year, so I feel sorry for you, Alex. Crew, USA Soccer. We have UC writers that are pumping out really good stuff. Check out our website. You can check it out on the mobile. It looks really good on the mobile. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. But check it out, ohsportsradio.com. We have it organized on there. If you hit navigation, you can click on a team page, and you can actually see previous articles that we've written about every team. Now, you may see some of those teams empty. The reason why is because we all work full-time jobs. This is something we do on the side. We are looking for new writers. So if you see a team that's empty and you're like, hey, why don't they have anything about the Cleveland Cavs, etc., write for us. Come write for us. Send us some of your stuff to ohiosportsradio@gmail.com. We're really looking for new writers. Ian, you're going to have to finish the show, dude. I can't. My voice is gone.
I got you, brother. That's actually something I wanted to touch on. You go in, you look at Cavaliers. We don't have anything about them. Look what happened to them. They won a championship. We haven't had anybody write about the Cleveland Indians. One of the hottest teams in baseball. Could win it all this year. I am officially retiring from writing from the Cleveland Browns. That way the Browns win a Super Bowl. No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm going to still write about the Browns.
I wouldn't push all your chips to the middle. just yet on that. But yeah, we are looking for new writers. So if you're a writer and you want a hobby, you want to write about your favorite team, please send us some of your stuff to ohiosportsradio@gmail.com. Ian, go ahead and pick up because I can't go anymore. You got to pick me up, man. This is like this is teamwork right here.
This was episode 18 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show podcast. Jared, I'm going to go at it first. We bark together this Sunday. We bark together.
This is throwing off the whole show. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, at Ohio Sports Radio on Twitter. Like us on Facebook, Ohio Sports Radio on Facebook. Interact with us. You guys are the best. If you have not already, please subscribe to our show on iTunes. Make sure you comment or rate and review it as well. You guys are the best. We cannot thank you enough. Ian, go ahead and say your stupid "we bark together" thing.
We bark together, baby.
Alex, you got anything to add?
Yeah, fuck Pittsburgh.
That's right. And Ian, who day, Ian? Who day? That's it. We will see you guys on the other side for episode number 19 of the Ohio Sports Radio Show.